All right, number 10 on my list is Donovan Mitchell. And Donovan Mitchell he actually had a really great postseason. So why is he number 10 on the list? It's because he missed those 2 games. He missed those 2 games at the end of the Cleveland Cavaliers season. So that's why I had to. You know what I mean? Like, I can't put a guy on the list that... First of all, I've definitely over-indexed on teams that made it to the conference finals. I had to. Because... I think that means something. But Donovan Mitchell had a really great postseason, man. They made a step forward from last season, so I think that's important. People are talking about, JB Bickerstaff is going to get fired. And he is, for sure. Just because that's how general managers do. They fire the coach, and I think that presents itself as a big move, like a big step. Because everyone's trying to save their job. Doesn't matter what business you work in. If someone just has a job, they're always trying to save it. Every decision they make as they're in their tenure as being employed by the company is an effort to make them retain their job or move up at their job. So does JB Bickerstaff deserve to be fired? Someone's going to get on here and say, he was his adjustments. Dude, did you see the adjustments? No, I didn't see the adjustments. I don't understand the adjustments. So the box plus minus 7.4, meaning if he was on the possession, if he was in the game for 100 possessions, dude, the Cavs would have been up 7.4. They needed him. The Cavs needed him. And I believed in this team. I thought they were really good. I thought, if the Pacers are in the conference finals, then hey, why not the Cavs? Are the Cavs a better team than the Pacers? It's close, right? Donovan Mitchell's usage rating was 34.3, which might be the highest of anyone on this list, meaning that most of the plays, 34.3, over a third of the plays when he was on the court, they ended with him. I think Donovan Mitchell is obviously he's one of the best players in the league, because that's the thing people say. They're like, I think he's one of the best, which really isn't saying anything if you think about it, because one of the best, it doesn't set an amount. If you say he's a top 5 player in the league, now you're saying something because you're excluding people. But when you say one of the best players in the league, it's like, how many's most? Is that like 15? In theory, it could be like 45 players. There's 450, NBA players every season. Top 10%. But no, I think Donovan Mitchell may be in the top 10. There we go. I said it. And solid rebounds and steals. 1.3 steals. We're going to go through this list and you're going to compare some of the steals. Like, keep an eye on 1.3. That's actually a lot for this playoffs. So, Donovan Mitchell, not necessarily known for being a defensive guy, but hey, and I think some people don't think steals are a reflection of how good you are at defense. Allen Iverson led league in steals, I know, at least once, but not a great defender. Not that I remember. I'm just basing this off of the reputation that he has. So, but hey, a steal's a steal. That's a moment in time where you got the ball and the other team had it. So that's a good thing for the Cavs. I'd like to see a little more playmaking from Donovan Mitchell. Obviously, he's a shooting guard. He's not a point guard, but 4.7 assists per game. I don't know. Especially with such high usage, and the ball's always going to him. But he did score a lot, 29.6. It's one of the higher scorers on my list. You know what? We'll let him off the hook. Decent efficiency, too. So let's look at his field goal. 47% field goal percentage, which is good. It's not great, but it's good. And then his three-point percentage, 35. Again, not great. What do you guys think? 35%? Over 35% from 3? What's the percentage? There's probably a stat that's out there, but what's the percentage that you need to shoot a three-pointer for your team to say, go ahead and shoot it? If you're open, go ahead and shoot it. I wonder what the percentage is, where if you shoot at that percentage, it mathematically makes sense for you to shoot it if you're open. I don't know. He played hobbled with a hobbled team. That's the thing. The Cavs, the Cavs were playing Markieff Morris. One of them's on Dallas and one of them's on Cleveland. I'm trying to track back the trades because I remember Marcus was on the Clippers for a long time. I lose track of them. Man, I mean, they do everything they can to look exactly the same. I don't even feel bad. But they had a Morris twin out there in getting solid playoff minutes, and Tristan Thompson. So, how did that happen? Why'd they have to go so deep? Man, Kevin Love used to be on that team. He could have done something for him. Oh well. What are you gonna play, Marcus Morris over Kevin? I don't know. Actually, maybe they're equal in value. I don't know. I'm not paying attention like that. Pascal Siakam. Ooh, Halliburton is not on this list. I'll be honest with you. Okay. Why am I saying I'll be honest? Of course, you're gonna know he's not on this list. Pascal Siakam. I think even though Halliburton had a good shooting night last night, I think the whole team. I think they said the Pacers. I'm recording this on Monday morning, so Game 7's happened yesterday, and I heard that the Pacers had a historic shooting night. I think they shot 58% from the three-point line, which is really good. I think they shot 24. I think they made 11. No, that math's wrong, but I think they had 39 points from three-point land. So they were really good. So everyone had a good shooting night. Back to Pascal Siakam. You'd hope for a little more blocks and steals just because, they traded for Siakam because they wanted some defense. Because remember at the beginning of the season, everyone's like, dude, the offense is crazy. They just let everyone score on defense and they get the points back on offense. But that changed. That changed a lot. They kind of changed their style, especially when they brought in Siakam because they were like, we should try to keep people from putting the ball in the basket a little, right? But I love Siakam. Siakam's one of my favorite players. I think him and Randall are sort of the players that are star players, but they just have nobody's going to pay them to sell products. And I don't know why that is. Because I like them both and they're both very good. They're not marketable. Why? Can't tell you. Higher usage than Halliburton. So on offense even. Of course, Halliburton is kind of known for being an assist king, but most of the plays end with Siakam. He was kind of their go-to over Halliburton. He can't shoot free throws this postseason. Actually, matter of fact, his whole career, I realized he's not a great free throw shooter. 57% from the free throw line. I think I could shoot better. Now, in a game, in an intense playoff game, could I shoot better? Yeah, I think I could. I'm kidding. I don't think I could. But yeah, you got your assists and rebounds. Good for him. Box plus minus is 2.4. More of an offensive player this year than a defensive player, which is kind of not exactly what you'd expect. Not exactly why you thought the Pacers brought him in. But that's how it is. But yeah. All right, can't shoot three. What's his three-point percentage? He shoots about three-pointers a game at 29.4%. I don't know what the maximum percentage it is where you should be shooting three-pointers, but Pascal Siakam should not be shooting three-pointers. There's a couple other guys on this list, though, that are worse. So, Kyrie. Okay, Kyrie actually has a pretty low player efficiency rating. If you don't know what a player efficiency rating, the average player in the league is 15 PER. That's the most average it can be. It's a zero-sum game, so there's only X amount of points to go around. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter the season, the average is always 15. So Kyrie was slightly above average this postseason. So, but if we look at his stats, I think PER actually favors guys that are taller, that get more rebounds. That's what I remember. So, should I even put PER on here? No, maybe not. 21 points a game. I love that Kyrie is just stepping in and being whatever he needs to be. I was a Kyrie hater. I'm gonna come clean. I was so over Kyrie. I didn't like his attitude. I was one of the people that was saying I really don't like this guy. I was criticizing him a lot. I have a video on my other channel where I just shitted on him the whole entire time, and I feel bad. I did not expect this. He's a great team player and he's a great leader. And he's happy just being the number 2 guy on the Mavs. Or if he needs to be the number 3 guy on any given night. If, Dante Exum or PJ Washington needs to go off. He doesn't care. And I love it. He had a couple stinkers. He had 2 9-point games and a 12-point game in round 2. So he's had a bad game or two. Because some of these guys haven't had bad games. Some of these playoff performers have not had bad games. And I got to give it to him. I got to give him props. I got to give credit where credit's due, because Kyrie has had a couple bad games. He's shooting over 6 3-pointers a game and has opened space for Jones Jr. and Gafford, which is very important for those easy field goals. Those easy field goal guys to get points. Getting rebounds for a shorter player. 4 rebounds a game from Kyrie. I think he's 6'1", 6'2". Hey, man, it means he's getting in there. He's getting in the fray when the ball goes up. Staying healthy and playing tons of minutes. 40 minutes per game. I think that's more than Anthony Edwards played. Not that it matters, really. Maybe there were some blowouts against the Suns in the first round, so they sat him. That's possible. But either way, he's playing playoff minutes. I think he's 33. So, confident player at the end of games. I was watching the highlights of the closeout game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I was really impressed by Kyrie's ability to close out 3-point shots and get a hand up and be totally engaged on defense again. I'm back on Kyrie. I love it. I love this version of Kyrie, and I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see drama-free Kyrie, and I was wrong. I didn't think it would work in Dallas, but it did. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is lower on the list because he sort of shares space with Tatum because they're both good. Are they equally as good? It's close. It's the one. I hate it when people say 1A and 1B. It's like, ooh, it's the 1A and 1B. Just say 1 and 2. Just say it's a close 1 and 2. 1A and 1B. It's like, dude, it's a 1 and 2. If one of them's A is before B. So you're putting one above the other. It's just funny to me. Basically scoring as many points as Tatum. We'll see that. Spoiler. Tatum's the next slide. Haven't had too many challenging games, so it's kind of hard to evaluate a lot of these stats because, especially, in a blowout against Miami or something, they're going to sit him. So points per game are going to go down. But he's been, what's his 3-point percentage? Not bad. 36%. His free throw percentage isn't good. I always think that's so weird when guys put up threes, but their free throws are not. Like 61% from the free throw line. That's a bad free throw percentage. So, tisk, Jaylen Brown. A little high on the turnovers. 2.8. That's high on this list. Because he has lower usage. Because he does have slightly higher usage than Tatum. So the ball is finishing with Brown more, which is kind of interesting. Is this like the series? What if Jaylen Brown is the finals MVP? Wouldn't that be interesting? I'm kind of rooting for that. I don't want Boston to win. Not that I don't like Boston. I just think it's sort of a boring win. This will be like the year that Boston won, just like 08 was. So, but if Jaylen Brown ended up being the NBA Finals MVP, that's interesting, isn't it? That's a good story. That's why I'm here. I'm here for the stories. So, yeah, field goal percentage is great. It kind of makes up for his bad free throw percentage. So, and his 3-point percentage is enough to be dangerous. That's the term I like to use. Enough to be dangerous. What is the percentage you need to hit your 3-pointers at where you're good enough to be dangerous, good enough to be guarded? That's the question. There he is. Like I said, Tatum. Tatum has a higher PER. So whatever that is. And again, PER favors guys that are tall and get rebounds. Because he's getting 10 rebounds a game. Dude, give it up for Tatum. That's impressive. Tatum, I don't, like, personality-wise, kind of not my thing. Like, he's not one of my favorite players in terms of, do I want to hear him do a post-game interview? But I like him a lot because he plays, dude. 39 minutes a game. I've said this stat multiple times, but he's played over, he's in the 93, 94% of played every single game that he's been available for, which is awesome. He has something to prove, and I think there's something valuable about having a guy that has something to prove on your team, who has a chip on his shoulder, which I think Tatum definitely does. I feel like he hasn't proven himself, and now he's, playing in every game. He's going hard. He does everything out there, and he wants to win because he gets disrespected a lot. I know he was upset that he didn't. I don't know if he got any MVP votes. I think he was upset about that because he had a post-game interview where he's like, "Hey, we didn't get any awards, by the way." He somehow worked it in to the context of whatever the interviewer asked him. Salty. That's how you do it. So, free throw percentage of a champion, dude. 86% from the free throw line. There's a better free throw shooter coming up, though. But I like guys that nail their free throws. I feel in the league now, well, this year it was like it was a bloodbath. There were like very rarely fouls called this postseason. Dare I say, not enough fouls called. And listen, I don't like slowing the game down, shooting free throws as much as the next guy, but some of it, some serious hacks by the basket. I felt as though. So let's bring up the fact that Tatum has a higher box plus minus than Brown. So whatever he was doing out there was a little more effective than Brown, given they're playing probably similar minutes and they're not staggered. So, yeah. Hasn't had an absolute dud of a game. 16 points per game, 12 rebounds per game. And like I said, hasn't had like an absolute dud. But again, he's not tearing it up really. Luka, dude. And Luka's been hobbled. That's the thing. And I put over on the side here, look at his PER over the last 4 postseasons. Look how insanely high they are. This is his lowest PER season. You have a 28, 27, and 26. He's at 20 this year. This is not his postseason, man. Even though they're in the Western Conference Finals, it's not by Luka, even though he's getting 27 points a game, which is actually kind of low, I believe, for a postseason by Luka. It's a lot of that Mavs team, and he's here for it. Dude, he chilled out. He stopped complaining. I couldn't believe it. At the end of the game, he's like, yeah, I just forgot that I kind of loved the game, and I was losing my joy for the game of basketball, and someone reminded me. So I stopped complaining. And he did. Loved it. I thought that was incredible how quick the shift was. He still had the impulse to complain. Something would happen, and he'd be like, hey, shouldn't complain, even though it ain't right. Gets loads of rebound and assists. That's Luka. Luka's going to pass the all-time triple-double record, Russ's, which is funny to me. I don't like triple-doubles. I think it's sort of arbitrary. It just happens to be good round numbers, but people get fetishy about it. I don't know. I'm not a triple-double. Like, even the thought, guys will be in games with subconsciously being like, I need an assist. Some consciously, some subconsciously. So, still below average defense. So did he deserve MVP? No, I don't think so. Lowest postseason, like I said, big-time team player, happy to be a Mav. And I think that's very important, isn't it? Guys that are happy to be with the people that they're with at the time in any capacity, right? Doesn't matter where you are, if you like the people around you. Jalen Brunson, to be honest with you, Jalen Brunson was number 1 on my list before I had to readjust everything after, because I started this slideshow and then I should have just started the slideshow after all the games, but man, I didn't want to put all that work in. So he was number 1 on my list, and I had to shuffle around this morning and put him at 4. And it's not his fault. He broke his hand. He broke his hand last night. Poor guy. And his numbers were higher. His numbers were higher before yesterday's game. So I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this. Oh man, my slide got cut off. But best point guard in the postseason. And he has the most points per game in the second round. So from a team that made it to the second round, Brunson has the most points. He has the second most points per game in the playoffs, only to Joel Embiid, but he didn't make it into the second round. So of the teams that made it into the second round, Brunson, however many 40-point games he had, it was some insane number. I was going to look it up, but I forgot. But yeah, had a negative DP. He not a great defender. But guy, you can use the argument, they use him so much on offense. He's getting 7.5 assists a game, 32 points. Man, yeah, maybe he's a bit of a negative on defense. But I got to bring it up. 32% usage. He's, of course, getting used all the time. And good. I mean, I respect OG Anunoby for getting out there tonight, trying it out. Josh Hart with the abdominal strain. This team, Mitchell Robinson now, yeah, it's unfortunate that this team had the injuries, but that's basketball. Sometimes you have injuries. It's cool to see this team. I hope they don't make any wild trades this offseason. Maybe bring in Mikal Bridges. I think that'd be perfect. Get another Villanova guy in there. But they can't break up this nucleus. The Knicks fans are really attached to this team. We all know it. And for good reason. It's the opposite of sort of let's bring in a bunch of stars. It's like, let's just bring in a bunch of friends and have a really fun team to watch that really like playing together. Ant-Man is number 3. He was lower on the list, but I had to raise him up, even though he didn't have a great game last night. So he's at 39% from 3-point land. Okay. Yeah. He was at 42% yesterday when I had the screenshot up. So he didn't have a great shooting night last night, but who cares? They won. And I'm a little bit heartbroken that the Nuggets are out. I like the Nuggets. I like Jokic. I like that team. And I'm sad. And now I'm trying to figure out who do I root for now, and I think it might be the Minnesota Timberwolves just because I like Ant's personality so much. The XD crotch chop aggressively. It's not like one chop. He was like popping that thing for a while. No, fine, love it. And then people are saying this shrug was the MJ shrug. Shea has done the MJ shrug. This is not the MJ shrug. This is something completely new, and which I love. This is like a shook, like mouth wide open thing. That's awesome. Love Ant-Man. He was looking at he had a bad shooting night last night. And there's actually a clip of him like looking at his stats, and he's like, "Oh man, I was ass." But yeah, I like Anthony Edwards, man. He's really fun to watch, and he, always taking responsibility, right? Just like, oh yeah, I let the team down. We got to be better. And that's it. How can you not be attracted to that, So top tier efficiency again, 3-point percentage went down, but still, field goal percentage, I believe it went up. So 50%, excellent shooting numbers, almost 50, 40, 90 in the playoffs. That's what's up, man. Swept the Suns. I can't stress that enough. His team swept the Suns. A team that everyone's like, oh, damn, who's going to stop this team? The Timberwolves. Maybe another team could have. Don't like the Suns. They're the evil team. I like the Knicks, I think. I would say the Knicks, Oklahoma City Thunder. Let's say OKC are probably good versus evil. Suns just being like a guy with a ton of money buys a bunch of veteran players that are, a little more ego-driven. Makes them evil, in my opinion. But that's just me. Played heavy minutes, took a beating. You all saw that fall. Fell on his butt bone. And then he rolled his ankle a couple times in the Sun series. Just kept going. He doesn't have that injury trauma. I think that's what it is. Once you get injured in a major way, you have injury trauma. So that injury informs the way you play for the rest of your career because you don't want to do it again. You're a little bit afraid. Understandable. Jokic was one, or no, he was up there. No, he might have just stayed at 2. Man, that was a brutal game to watch last night. It felt like Game 6 happened again in the second half of Game 7. Because the Nuggets were so good. And then Jaden McDaniels, man, what an excellent defender. Just that pressure. The pressure, I felt like there were so many times where the Nuggets would just lose control of the ball. Maybe they'd retain it, maybe they wouldn't. But it just it shook the Nuggets, It was just like, we couldn't stabilize the ball enough to get it off a good shot. And the 3-point percentage, man, Jokic's 3-point percentage was really bad, and he was shooting them, especially last night. I think he shot 10. I think he made 2. Man, it was so bad just watching him put up threes, just bricking them. So, am I disappointed in Jokic? Yeah, but he did have really good stats this postseason, so I understand if you're like, Jokic is number 2, he's a fraud, whatever, there's Jokic haters out there, but dude, his PER is insane. It's just way higher than everyone else on the list. Actually, it's not way higher than everyone else. Y'all about to see. But it's the highest on the list. So, I don't know, man. He had high turnovers. 3.3 turnovers a game. It's a little too high for the postseason, even though the ball's always going through him. 1.4 steals, which is actually more than Shea. It's more than anyone on this list. Something to think about. Jokic is like leading the playoffs in assists or in steals. Remember when everyone thought he was like a 0 on defense? He's not. Maybe he was then, but he is not now. He had one stinker game, 16 points and 4 turnovers. People are going to have stinkers. That was against the Lakers. That was the game the Lakers won. So, shot 90% from the free throw line. I think 80% is good, 4 out of 5. But 90% highest on this list. So, 28 points a game. R.I.P. Jokic. R.I.P. You died in the playoffs, dude, and it sucks. I was looking forward to watching more Nuggets games. Again, I'm reevaluating. Who do I want to win? It ain't Boston. I'll tell you that. Shea. Why does it say number 5 on my slide? Who's number 1? Shit. 29.3 PER. Almost as good as Jokic. And again, shorter than Jokic. PER is always higher for guys that can rebound. So, Shea's my number 1. He didn't have a bad game. Almost playing 40 minutes a game. Lowest scoring game was 24 points. He had no bad games. Only fault is the team was eliminated. Whatever he was doing wasn't enough. Not that he should have done more. Maybe his teammates should have been better. Either way, that team's way ahead of schedule. No disrespect to them. But it's unfortunate to see. But, dude, this guy is excellent. I should have put the gif of him doing the shrugs. He does it's that. It's this, not that. Yeah. So, I used to think Shea looks like Michael Jordan. Then I was doing some research for a video, and I was doing research on Michael Jordan, and looking at him, I'm like, dude, he does look just like Anthony Edwards, especially when he was younger. So, yeah, great dude, 3-point percentage, 43% free throws, shooting 3.7 a game. Dude, Ant and Shea, I think these are going to be the two guys battling in the West for the next 6 or 7 years, and I'm here for it. I love them both. You remember when Shea was asked, like, hey, Anthony Edwards says he's better than you. He thinks he's the best player in the league. And I loved Shea's response, which was, it's almost like so measured that it was boring. He's like, yeah, he has the right to say that. You know, we all get to this place in our careers, and we have to believe that we are the best and we are exceptional and we're better than other people. And then she's like, well, do you think you're better than Anthony Edwards? He's like, yes, I do. I was like, oh, man, I love that. To be able to say, yeah, I understand exactly why he would say that, and he should say that. But I feel this way about myself. That's confidence. That's like real. It's not like overcompensating, you know. Man, I love basketball. Some of the best blocks and combo steals, man. 1.7 blocks a game. That's high. 1.3 steals a game. This guy is a great defender. I wonder if he's going to be on an all-defensive team. I'd like to see that. Those teams haven't come out yet. What are they waiting on? I want to see. What's going on? 33% usage. Got used all the time. 9 box plus minus. He kind of carried that team. I know Jalen Williams was great. Chet Holmgren's great. But in these playoffs, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did some heavy lifting. Okay, well, let me know who I should root for. Why should I watch the playoffs? My team's out, or the team I've been rooting for. So, it ain't Boston. Don't tell me to root for Boston. Okay. Be good to your mothers, eat a corn dog.